It seems like hackers in Fortnite are everywhere. Tournaments, Twitter, TikTok, and even the FNCS Global Championship. In order to understand how a cheater managed to qualify to the biggest Fortnite event of the year, you first have to understand how good Fortnite's anti-cheat is.
Do you think for the average person trying to cheat, it's easy to cheat in Fortnite, or is it actually difficult and just like a select group of people understand how to do it?
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. I think a lot of people don't give these anti-cheats enough credit. I think easy anti-cheat is one of the best anti-cheats I've ever like. It's not even close. If you ask anyone who actually knows what they're talking about, easy anti-cheat is very good.
Now, I know what you're thinking when you hear that. I see cheaters all the time at the top of the skirmish leaderboards and tournaments, and I see pros complaining about them and dying to cheaters every tournament. So how could Fortnite's anti-cheat possibly be good? Well, there's actually two good explanations to that. The first is just the cat and mouse nature of cheating. To drastically oversimplify the matter, say easy anti-cheat could detect 5 different methods of cheating in Fortnite. Eventually, someone will figure out a way to create a 6th method that will be undetected. Easy anti-cheat then has to find out how these players were undetected and then ban them. Then the cheat developers have to figure out what was detected and then recreate a new cheat. Essentially, this cycle just infinitely repeats, meaning cheaters are going to always be one step ahead of any anti-cheat. This means there's going to be periods where cheating isn't that bad and other times where they just run rampant. Then if you combine this with the current throwback skirmishes having no rank requirement to enter, and you're just naturally going to have a tournament with a lot of cheaters at the top. I will say though, a lot of the cheaters who've placed at the top of these leaderboards have already been banned and also removed, which leads me to my second explanation of how the easy anti-cheat works.
The way that it works is, say you have a cheat that is detected, but you're the only user, you'll be able to play for a little bit, so you'd be able to play. They'd know you're cheating, they'd identify it, but then as more users, and they wouldn't ban you, and then as more users came onto your cheat, and they're monitoring this automatically. As more users come onto your cheat, they'll ban wave you. And they'll make it very difficult for you to really understand what is detected in your cheat. No, it's legitimately hard to cheat in Fortnite. I think I've been banned from Fortnite like over 100 times of it. I just think that like you can look on Twitter and you see all these people cheating, and you go on TikTok and you see all these people cheating. But I mean, if you can get these people to last like over a week or so, like it's so rare that will happen. And if you look at it from from Epic's point of view in these tournaments that people play, like it makes a lot more sense, because if they can get all of these people who are trying to go for longevity, and just ban them all at the same time, it's a lot better than just banning people instantly. So like, because if you get banned instantly, then you know you're detected, and then you can keep testing and figure out what's detected and get around it.
Cheaters are nearly exclusively playing tournaments and are in high elo lobbies, so pro players will have seen way more than the average person. But outside of high elo tournaments, most players will have only ever seen 1 or 2 cheaters in their entire time playing the game, which at minimum shows how much better Fortnite's anti-cheat is than the majority of other games out there. So this led me to an obvious question. How many of the top pros around the world does Auden believe are currently cheating?
I don't think really any of them, to be honest with you. If you're able to go for months at a time, there's something very special, and you're extremely, lucky, or you're just not cheating.
Right.
It's just so rare. Like I've really not seen people go for months at a time. If you go back a few years ago, I think like the first like high profile ban was KD. What was it, like the Frosty Frenzy? Like not a lot of people know, but that wasn't his first ban.
Oh.
So pretty much so with the cheat that they were using, there wasn't that many people on it. I knew someone who was on it. And basically they all got banned one day. And KD messaged every person who used the cheat got unbanned and got 2,000 V-Bucks. And then fast forward to Frosty Frenzy and they all got banned again. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you'll have a bunch of these pros who get banned, and Epic just won't say anything. There was another person who got banned who a lot of people just would never suspect. I don't think he's even called out. Named Flalism. You know who that is? Yeah. Well, his main account's banned, and he just changed the name.
So if easy anti-cheat makes it so difficult for accounts to remain undetected for weeks at a time, how did a cheater manage to qualify to the FNCS Global Championship? Since OCE is the smallest region with the smallest player base, naturally they also get the least amount of qualification slots, being 5 total. They have 1 in Major 1 and Major 2, 2 in Major 3, and then 1 in the additional Last Chance Major. This meant in order to qualify, you basically had to win your region or just come second in one of the 4 qualifiers. Very difficult difficult for even the best players in that region. First major was won by Anon and Sons, who will absolutely come back to later, but since they also won Major 2, that meant that Sorf and Skits in second place were given the Global Championship qualification. So come to the final major of the year, Major number 3, and a lot of the region's best teams were yet to qualify, notably Alex and Worthy, the region's best duo, and Pumpkin and Volks. Volks had qualified to the same event the year prior, but was disqualified for being in a Discord call with Pumpkin in a small solo tournament. He placed second in Major 1, meaning he just missed out on qualification by 12 points. But there was one team who was making waves in Major 3, and that was Jace and Repulse.
What's like the longest an account of yours has been cheating on and not banned for?
Well, obviously the best one is like Repulse. Like we started using it like 6-7 months ago, and it only got banned manually because like the tweets and stuff.
Now, Repulse is one of the best OCE keyboard and mouse players in the first few years of Fortnite's release, even placing 4th at DreamHack Anaheim 2020, a LAN event. Very impressive for a player from such a small region, but come to the end of 2021 and he would quit and disappear from the internet entirely. Strangely, on his return midway through 2023, he would be playing Controller. He actually played a week of FNCS in Major 2 with a player named Slixon, or Slix, I don't know how to pronounce it. He stopped playing with Slixon for Major 2 and instead decided to play with Jace, for quite an interesting reason.
And like we thought it was a good idea anyway, because like playing with a legit player, you know, like you're not going to look as obvious as you would playing 2 cheaters.
With absolutely no difficulty, they made it through the 3 weekly qualifiers and had made it to the Major 3 Grand Finals. Everyone, and I mean everyone on OCE, knew that this was not Repulse playing on the account. There was absolutely no way a player could quit for 2 years, return on a different input, and suddenly be one of the best players in the region on it. They were constantly being reported in-game and in the appropriate discords, but it didn't seem like Epic Games had enough evidence to actually ban them. This means that they ended up playing out all 12 games of Major 3 Grand Finals, and they won. The prizing for first place was $20,000, but they'd also punched that ticket to the Global Championship. And here's the kicker, even if they come dead last at the FNCS Global Championship, that's still $4,000, so at minimum they've made $12,000 each. But sadly, Volks and Pumpkin missed out on that qualification. Since Volks did miss out on last year's LAN due to the disqualification and was 1 place off on Major 1, and now he wouldn't qualify due to obvious cheaters, you could understand his frustration. There was no way this was Repulse playing, but everybody knew who it actually was. Forbes.
I remember I got a TM from Forbes like a while ago. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to go on Repulse's account. And so he did, and he was playing with it. It was really funny, actually, because it was like gradual. It wasn't, like he wasn't sure about going on the account at first because he didn't want to lose it. And he's just like, yeah, I'm going to try and win grands. Like that was eventually kind of happened. He just very quickly unfolded like that.
Now Forbes, similar to Repulse, was a very good player in Chapter 1 and 2. He was massive on YouTube at the time, and during his time as a legitimate player was also one of the best in the region. After playing multiple FNCS with Repulse in 2021, he continued to compete after Repulse had quit, until one day he himself got banned. Now, reportedly Forbes actually never cheated in Fortnite. However, what he was doing was cheating in Rainbow Six and forgot to close the cheat and restart his PC, meaning when he launched Fortnite, it got detected by the anti-cheat system and he ended up getting banned from Fortnite. This led down the path of continually playing on alt accounts to play in tournaments, and after getting banned on those repeatedly as well, he just fully committed to cheating in tournaments. This is how he became acquainted with Auden, who you heard at the start of the video, which would start the decline of the OCE region.
So I kind of helped him find cheats. Like this is before I was really making anything. And so this kind of continued for a while. You know, he'd play for a little bit, get banned, blah, blah, blah. Eventually found some stuff where he'd be able to play tournaments. It was him and there were some other OCE players like who were pros. I think Forbes was like the one that really started it. Because when you had Forbes, Jolin, and Zora all on alt accounts playing FNCS, it's kind of like a red flag. And then they all got banned, and then they all went to play on their mains. And then they got banned. Yeah, that definitely started it. When you saw all of these like high tier pro players who, you know, literally a few seasons ago were in NA representing OCE and like, you know, placing really well. You have a lot of these people in the community saying, why can't I do that too? And yeah, that's definitely what started it, I think.
With the alternate accounts repeatedly getting banned, they searched for an option that would allow them to go undercover. If a cheater has 1 or 2 events played, then out of nowhere they win a tournament, it's fairly obvious that they're cheating. But if they get their hands on an account that's placed highly in tournaments for years and years, it's much harder to detect. So in OCE, accounts of pro players who have quit are very sought after, such as Repulse's account. Now, for very obvious reasons, I'm not going to tell you exactly how they didn't get banned and how they avoided ban detection, but I will say it's not possible without severe hardware modifications, hardware ban avoidance, and then a small user base on your cheat to make sure that you don't get ban waived altogether.
Because if you have a lot of users, like, it just gives you more attention. Again, it kind of brings you back to that heuristic ban that EAC does. So you get more attention to yourself when people don't like that. But if you have a smaller user base, it's more consistent, but you also get less.
And it's a lot of money. One cheat reseller sent me a screenshot showing they grossed over $42,000 in revenue over the last month from their 500 to 700 daily users. They pay people to use their cheats in order to make recordings so they can promote the products, but with such a large user base on a public product, it becomes a prime target for detection. Hence why they're paying people to get the recordings rather than actually using it themselves. And as we already know, if one user on the cheat gets detected, everyone on the cheat gets detected and ban waived. The clip you're seeing right now is the actual cheat that Forbes used on Repulse's account to win FNCS. Don't be fooled by this though. They're not selling this cheat. They are fully scamming you, but we'll come back to that later. Now obviously Forbes was smart when he was playing on the account. He cheated, but he didn't full-on aimbot 200 to 0 dead players through the sky, and he didn't shoot people through walls and make it obvious. He hit it very, very well. Over the years of playing on different accounts, he found a different play style that makes it less obvious to players watching the replays. In fact, that may have kind of been my fault, I'm not gonna lie.
If you like want to look at someone directly with your ESP, like you got to make sure you've seen them in the open first. Like obviously, like you can't just. Because I remember this specific scenario happened. Like I was using the Juicy account, right? And you were the one that actually found this out. And you got
I did
the clip.
indeed. I got
Yeah,
you, baby.
You did, and then like no, the reason that happened is because my teammate I saw him in the open, so I'm like, okay, I'm good to shoot him. I think I didn't see him. So then I opened Twitter like 2 hours later, and I just see your tweet. I'm like, what the fucking fake coming for?
This cheat that Moose was using here is the exact same one that Forbes would use to play on Repulse's account. It seems like the combination of a legacy account of a quit-to-pro player, hardware-modified cheats, and a legitimate pro player using them and playing to hide the cheats made it too difficult for Epic Games to ban them. Jason Repulse were announced as the Major 3 FNCS champions, and over the next few weeks, Epic Games made multiple content pieces containing them in the lead-up to the FNCS Global Championship, which, given I had reported them multiple times, I personally found very entertaining. A question you may be asking is, was Jace cheating? He was playing with a cheater, and surely he knew that it was not Repulse playing on the account because he was well aware that it was Forbes. Well, he's also not the only one who was aware of this. I remember seeing this tweet of Jace, Repulse, and Anon with their FNCS pickaxes. Now, this was strange to me because Forbes was obviously playing on Repulse's account, Jace knew, and then Anon was clued in the call, so it was clear also Anon was aware that Forbes was cheating on this. Didn't report it, and the reason he didn't report it is because he has protection from the cheaters. Reportedly, this may not be true.
There's a bunch of people who also, they're not playing with the cheater at all, but they're being, told like where to drop or to juice lanes that would make it so that they're kind of spared.
So basically, as in like,
Anon.
hey Anon, yeah, hey, you're not cheating, but land in this area. Yeah, land away because we'll be hitting everyone in the 200-meter radius, basically, from here.
Something like that. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, they obviously know what they're doing. Like, they're not innocent.
Now, if you're hacking, having the ability to see the names of the players who are in the lobby is pretty beneficial, as you can choose who you want to target and who you don't want to target. I will say, in the region, this is not just an issue with Jace and Anon, however. They are yet to face any repercussions with this, but this is a region-wide problem. Everyone is aware of it.
Like in OCE, for example, do you think, is it just like everyone up at the top understands what's going on here?
Yeah, they understand what's like. We obviously don't give them proof, but like they understand. Yeah, like in ESL last year, like I played with Suns, right? And we won that tournament, and like the whole region was complaining about it because obviously Suns knew I was feeding.
Yeah, here's a crazy stat I didn't think I'd be saying. All 4 different players who won one of the 3 majors in OCE this year were either cheating or were associated with cheaters. Everyone, and I mean everyone in OCE, knows that this happens, but if they speak out about it, they get focused by the hackers and have no chance in qualifying to the international lands, so everyone's just kind of quiet. With the FNCS majors being online, it does open up the possibility for players to cheat their way to cash prizes, but since the Global Championship was an in-person event, this raised a very obvious issue with the Repulse. Who's actually going to travel to the event? Since people, including Epic Games, knew what the real Repulse looked like, Forbes wouldn't be able to attend the event, and Repulse himself would have to go. At this point, Repulse was forced to return to playing the game after 2 years off, and reportedly played so much that he didn't go to work and actually lost his job. People often ask this question, like if they could transport back to 2019 and they could play in the World Cup then, would you be able to qualify for the finals or even win? But this was like a really interesting example of the complete opposite. You have a player time traveling forward who hasn't played in multiple years, and now they're going to the biggest LAN and seeing how well they can place. During this time they were practicing, they sucked. Massively. I watched some of their tournaments, and unfortunately the replays are no longer available, so you can't physically watch them, but they played a duo cash cup, died a lot in 5 games, and struggled to come top 3,000. It was very funny, and I really wish I had clips of it, but unfortunately you can just see the leaderboard here or something. It's a pretty poor showing for a team who 2 weeks earlier just won FNCS Grand Finals. A few days before their flights to Denmark, the FNCS Major 3 winnings were paid out, meaning yes, the real Repulse was able to claim the $10,000 that he earned that Forbes played for him, without getting banned. Now, whilst in Denmark, the first 2 days were media days, where the players shot a bunch of content that would be used for the broadcast. A lot of the players spent this time doing things that were strictly against Blast and Epic Games rules in the hotel and around the area. Now, I've heard 2 different stories from a lot of different people because I've reached out to as many people as possible on this. The first was that they were smoking and drinking in the hotel room. By the way, they were not the only ones, and were punished for it. The second was that reportedly, Repulse was telling everyone, and I mean everyone, that he wasn't the one that played. This information almost definitely got its way back to Epic or Blast, and they probably just ended up kicking them from that. Now, we'll probably never know what the real reason was, because even Repulse wasn't told, because Epic Games' fantastic communication policies rely on that. However, they were kicked and immediately deported back to Australia and lost out on any potential earnings from this event. They had claimed their earnings from Major 3, as we already mentioned. However, the Repulse account still wasn't banned until a week later. Now, reportedly, out of the 10k that Repulse made, Forbes was meant to get 7k as he was the one that played. However, Repulse is currently holding on to all of it. The real Repulse no longer has access to this Twitter account, so this is clearly a scam that's attempting to take back the earnings that Repulse is still holding on to.
Probably maybe last Forbes related question. What is the reason that you specifically, obviously you said you've banned him from your cheat and whatnot, you seem to be cutting ties.
I just don't like the scam. Like, I don't know, it's a reoccurring theme, like I've kind of just, especially when it's a small like community like ours, it's like with all due respect, like I keep saying this stuff, like we don't need you to be our customer, like we don't need, I mean, you don't need your subscription. Like you're here because you're a friend of someone who we've trusted, or you are we trusted, and then eventually what you'll see is that people who, you know, if someone is trying to invite to the software or something, they'll, well, this is a scam because I saw it on Twitter. It's like the ultimate fuck you if you like kind of allow somebody to use your software and you just have them scamming people with it.
However, this isn't the only scam that hackers do in Fortnite. As of recording, this is currently the Fortnite OG season. Yet this live stream that I just saw is broadcasting gameplay of them cheating in Chapter 4 Season 1, which is almost 10 months ago. If you notice, this is clearly the account's first game, as a lot of the map hasn't even been discovered yet. When the game ends, the footage just restarts. Clearly, they're able to play one game and get banned, and these streams just lead people either to complete scams or cheap cheats that just will get you banned. Twitter cheaters are just as bad. They frequently take credit for other people who've cheated in-game, posting pictures of other cheaters on the leaderboard and saying it's them, and they do this to promote their own scams, but the thing is, no one's ever going to call them out because they'll reveal that they themselves have tried to buy cheats. Since this scam tweet on Repulse's account did actually contain proof that cheating has occurred on the account, a few hours after it went live, Repulse was banned from Fortnite.
Do you have anything, do you think this is worth mentioning?
Yeah,
that we haven't talked about?
I mean, don't, not really worth cheating in Fortnite. Like, even if you, like, I mean, I don't know. This is obviously not going to stop anyone who's just quitting the game and thinks they can give it a try. I just think that, it typically won't work out for you, and you are going to get banned eventually. It's just not really worth it.
You know, if I could be honest, if I could go back, like, I wouldn't have cheated in the first place. I would have, like,
really?
played legit. Yeah.
How come?
I don't know, because like, I wasn't even bad before the cheat, so like, I still would have played. I just wouldn't have to be going around from account to account.